If you're getting value out of these videos, please subscribe to the channel for more cryptocurrency investing content. What's up, guys? Welcome to Walking Crypto. My name's Taylor. I walk and talk crypto. In this video, I'm going to be discussing how much Bitcoin is owned by some large players in the space, and then extrapolate from that data how much is available for you and me to purchase over the next 10 years. Before I get started, please remember none of this is financial advice. I'm not a registered financial advisor. I'm just bringing you some publicly available information and my opinion on what's going to be taking place over the next 10 years. Okay, let's get the big ones out of the way. Grayscale Investment Trust. This is a private company that owns 650,000 Bitcoins. Institutional investors can buy shares in this company to get indirect exposure to Bitcoin. Those 650,000 Bitcoins, however, are locked up forever in the Grayscale Investment Trust. This is part of their contract. So that's 650,000 Bitcoins out of a potential 21 million that are locked up and gone forever. Another huge chunk of Bitcoins, 3.7 million Bitcoins approximately lost and gone forever. 1 million of them may have been owned by Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonymous creator of Bitcoin. Most of them are Bitcoins that the private keys were lost because people didn't understand in 2009 and 2010 how valuable this stuff was going to be. Chamath Palihapitiya, an early Facebook investor, disclosed publicly that he owns 1 million Bitcoins that he bought in 2010 for $80 a piece. Mike Novogratz owns 96,000 Bitcoins. Ricardo Salinas Pliego owns 90,000 Bitcoins. The Winklevoss twins together own 180,000 Bitcoins. Changpeng Zhao, the creator and owner of Binance, owns 21,000 Bitcoins. Publicly traded business intelligence company MicroStrategy owns 100,000 Bitcoins. The CEO of MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, says that he intends for his company to hold Bitcoin for the next 100 years because, as he calls it, it is the pristine collateral against which a company can borrow for decades and generations and grow their business without ever having to sell their underlying assets. Anthony Pompliano of Morgan Creek Digital and now Pomp Investments owns 13,000 Bitcoins. That is 80% of his net worth. Jack Dorsey, when asked on Twitter how much Bitcoin he owns, he replied with, enough. With a net worth of $13.5 billion and a conservative portfolio allocation of 40%, would have Jack Dorsey holding 230,000 Bitcoins. Square, the fintech company created by Jack Dorsey, owns 8,000 Bitcoins. Tesla owns 40,000 Bitcoins. What are some key takeaways from these numbers? If you add all of these numbers up, you get 6.1 million Bitcoins held by multi-billionaires and billion-dollar companies likely to be held forever. Why are they likely to be held forever? Because rich people don't like to sell their assets. They simply accumulate assets and borrow against them for the rest of their lives. If you had a net worth of $15 billion and you more than likely had 1 million of that in cash in the bank, and you own companies that are generating free cash flows, why would you ever sell a finite asset like Bitcoin? In the year 2030, 20 million of the possible 21 million Bitcoins will have been mined. My investment strategy is I like to take a 5 to 10 year time frame, and using 2030 as an even number for a year, we can then extrapolate that 13.9 million Bitcoins are available for purchase during the next 9 years. There are 7.6 billion people on the planet, and evenly distributed, that would equal 0.002 Bitcoins per person. That is extremely low. And if you take into account that MicroStrategy has 100,000 Bitcoins, Chamath Palihapitiya has 1 million Bitcoins, and some of the largest Bitcoin addresses own more than 10,000 Bitcoins. Many own more than 1,000. That possible 0.002 per person is already lost for so many people. There are 330 million people in the United States. Evenly distributed, that comes out to 0.04 Bitcoins per American. And then we have the selling, or rather holding, propensity of Bitcoin addresses. 60% of Bitcoin entities have never sold more than 25% of their holdings. This is a propensity of Bitcoin users to hold long term. And it really makes sense why they're doing that. Because denominated in dollars, Bitcoin has performed 200% annual compound growth rate for a decade. That's an asset you want to hold, especially when you consider 1% of the world's population owns Bitcoin. And if even 10% of the world's population owns Bitcoin over the next 10 years, that is a huge amount of capital that will inflow into the network. What we can really understand from this is that there is not much Bitcoin left to go around. However, thinking with an abundance mindset, you only need to invest $1,500 US to own more Bitcoin than 99% of Americans. Please do your own research, but make sure you consider whether you want to store your wealth in a finite asset secured on a globally decentralized digital network or in a currency that has lost 85% of its value in the last 50 years. I will leave you with this chart showing how $1 has lost 85% of its purchasing power since 1971. Please think about this when you consider whether the hard cap of 21 million Bitcoins is important to your future in investing.